We've only gone and won the Bundesliga in our first season at Leipzig. Francisco has 33 league goals with 2 games remaining. A big part of it was how bad Bayern Munich have been doing though. Even still, we fully deserve it after this season, and it's another trophy added to our Glory Hunter cabinet. With this being season number 11 of 20, we could also win the Europa League, giving us just Spain and France to conquer in the remaining 8 seasons. Speaking of the Europa League, we have just overcome Copenhagen in the quarterfinals. And in the semi-finals, we met our old team Roma, and it was our star man back then, Tammy Abraham, who scored against us. I forgive him though. We went without scoring until the 87th minute, where Leandro Salazar popped in the equaliser to make it 1-1 into the second leg. Tammy is still decent though, age 35, although I don't see how getting older means you just lose all your strength. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. The second leg in Rome, I imagine I had a standing ovation from the fans as I came out, and Leandro Salazar bags another in the tie to put us 2-1 up on aggregate, until Roma start an attack just 8 minutes later and score through Carlos. But unfortunately, from my former side, this is our year, and we are going into the final, and our Italian midfielder Fagioli knocks out my former Italian club, and we're into the final of the Europa League against another former club, Chelsea. Here it is then, the final of the Europa League, and our lineup is a strong one with Salazar and Francisco up front, a couple of slight injuries including the goalkeeper. The Chelsea lineup looks quite unrecognisable to the team we left for Manchester City, with only 4 players still there now, lining up in a 4-2-3-1, but as the teams make their way to the pitch, the nerves are kicking in. We took a huge gamble changing clubs last year for this competition, and now we're in the final. And with winning the title already, we know this is our last chance with this team to win this competition. What a game we have here too, as we snatched the lead just 12 minutes in when our right back hit a shot from the edge of the area. But Chelsea weren't phased, and new manager Brendan Rodgers has steadied the ship, it seems, and they come back with a goal not long after from Aslani. To say this was a back and forth game would be an understatement, as we countered an attack and set Francisco free on his lethal left foot, 2-1. But again, it wasn't long before Chelsea come back at us, and it was their other centre midfielder, this time Rodri, who brought it back to 2-2. There was still time for us to score another before half-time, which we did through Francisco's second, albeit a tap-in. But the half-time team talk from Brendan Rodgers caused Chelsea to dominate proceedings at the start of the second half, and Valverde brought it to 3-3. Ato Smith's 73rd minute goal put Chelsea ahead for the first time in the game, and I began to worry big time, taking the lead 3 times already until Gutierrez pulled off the most outrageous cross to find Francisco, and it's 4-4. But with 5 minutes left, our new centre-back Leon Klaus scored the winner, and we are the Europa League champions. And I just know once again the set piece police will be raging in the comments, but we have done it 5-4 in just 90 minutes. Such an entertaining game, and with the lift of the trophy, it was a sigh of relief. The second trophy game from our very short time at RB Leipzig, and it's similar situation to Man City now. I'm not really sure what we do. What's our next step? It's barely been a year at Leipzig, so I can't really resign just yet. Looking at the insecure jobs, it's only really Marco Rose at Atletico, who has been shocking for years now. They finished in 7th place, which is roughly where they have been the last 5 years. And their team is incredibly poor, as well as their finances too, and I don't fancy that again. But then, hello, Real Sociedad and Marseille jobs have popped up, with both teams finishing in 8th place in their respective leagues, and their teams aren't that bad. Sociedad with the likes of 36-year-old Oyarzabal, Sucic and Arda Güler, but a lot of players are in their mid-30s. Financially, they're okay too. £20 million budget is going to help us mount a title challenge though. Marseille's finances are a lot worse, however. But call me crazy, they have a better team in my opinion. Desiree Doué is phenomenal. They have Bella Kotchap in defence alongside an aging Aya, but I really like their striker too. He's still Francisco, don't get me wrong, but he'll be great in this league. I decided to see what happens if I resign from my job. Again, it's a big risk. I was hoping it would trigger a manager merry-go-round, but no, they hired Benfica manager Abel Ferreira instead, who isn't part of Glory Hunter. But a month later, it finally happened. The PSG job became available as Petkovic retires. And this job does not come around very often at all, so I could smash through the French League and Cup situation within a season or two, leaving me with a very good amount of time to attack the Spanish side of Glory Hunter. Xabi Alonso took the Marseille job, so that option was then gone, and the Espanyol manager took the Sociedad job. but I really didn't fancy that job, thank you very much. The fans consider me the leading candidate for the role too. Liverpool offered me an interview, but my eyes are solely set on one role right now. It took ages, but a huge sigh of relief as PSG finally offered me an interview. And I was shocked that the budget was only £10 million. But we nailed the interview and they offered me the job, and we got it. Arguably the best job possible to get for a Glory Hunter challenge. The team had some recognisable names, of course, like Mbappe and Evan Ferguson, who we knew moved here, but also some familiar faces for me too, like Luengo and Obradovic from our time at Leverkusen. Mbappe at 34 is still really good, and so he should be with 725k a week in wages. The tormentor of our time in the Champions League with Chelsea, Evan Ferguson, is still here in his prime. And they still also have Kai Havertz, who I sold here too. But they have backup strikers in Rasmus Højlund and Matthijs Tel. They have Manuel Ugarte as their main midfielder, but the lack of depth in this position. Defense is still solid though, Gvardiol, Inacio and Obradovic, with Montanaro as a backup who also is on the transfer list right now. I found out why there's no budget too. Luengo was a very recent transfer for £86 million from my former club. It's not a bad move though, probably one that I would have looked into very similar. I moved the wage budget to transfer and it was enough to sign a backup fullback as well, as we only have one left back, so Terzic, a Croatian right back from Everton, aged 23. We then sold the Italian centre back who was transfer listed to Newcastle for £36 million, £10 million profit from what they signed in the season before. And I wanted to use that money to bring in this Italian centre midfielder that I've been following for a few seasons who moved to Tottenham, Marco Evangelista. He is superb as an attacking threat from that centre mid, and Tottenham have barely been using him and only played him 17 games last season with only 9 starts. He agreed on a squad player contract for only 87 grand a week. Pretty much a steal. I know what you're thinking though, why aren't you going after Francisco? I'm sure we will reunite again soon. Just like that, our first match is here in the Trophy de Champions against Monaco. And we set out in this attacking diamond formation, but had both Singo and Gvardiol missing from the starting 11 on our defence with injury and suspension. Monaco's team is decent though, they've got some great players and a couple I've been following too. It wasn't exactly a dominant performance, but we still picked up the 1-0 win from Kai Havertz. Our first league game came against Nice and it was a lot more one-sided, with us taking a very early 2-goal lead after Mbappe slotted in his first of the season. Matthijs Tel got on the score sheet in the first half too, and after half-time he was joined by Evan Ferguson who made it 4-0, and there was still time for one more when Kai Havertz picked up the fifth. In just my second competitive game in charge, we had Mbappe score our first hat-trick at the club. At this point, the legendary striker was still lethal against Reims away from home, giving us that top spot thanks to goal difference in this really early stage of the season. I had bids come in for Zabani from Barcelona, but it was just no need to sell. Against Nantes in the following match, I decided to give Rasmus Højlund a start, replacing Ferguson alongside Mbappe up front. He won a penalty for us just minutes into the match, which Mbappe stepped up to take and missed. Rasmus Højlund continued to do hard work for the team though, and he stole the ball and laid it on the plate for Mbappe, who couldn't miss that one. But Nantes equalised on the hour mark from a set piece, and it took until the 92nd minute for a corner to be swung in and Inacio to snatch 3 points. We definitely got away with that one. The man of the match of the final game before the transfer window closed was Matthijs Tel, who got 2 assists and 2 goals in a 4-1 away win to Rennes. So far, it's so good. 4 wins from 4 with a big plus 13 goal difference in the French league with our new team. I still can't believe we managed to land this job. It doesn't come up very often at all. But we have 4 trophies in our Glory Hunter cabinet still to win, with 8 seasons remaining, and we are at the perfect club to get 2 of them. And we kind of need something big to happen in this league, as money sucks in Spain. But I'm excited to continue this journey and hopefully complete this challenge with you.